Let's start with Mathematics Ordinary Level, Paper 2, 2020. Now, before I'm going to start with the question paper, I first want you always to read this. Okay, this is very important. I make it a little bit bigger that you can see. So, candidates answer on the question paper in the spaces provided. Please, you cannot ask for extra paper and write on the extra paper and then copy your work on this question paper. Please don't do that. Everything must be on this question paper. So write your center number, candidate number, and name in the spaces at the top of this page. Write in dark blue or black pen. You may use a soft pencil for any diagrams or graphs. Do not use correction fluid. So please, no Tipp-Ex. Just draw a line through work that you don't want them to mark. Do not write in the margin for examinations use. It's there. Please don't go over. It's the examiner's space that. Answer all the questions. If working is needed for any question, it must be shown below or where working is indicated. If you don't have enough space, and I'll show it to you later, you can make a cross and then you can say, go to the back. They gave you two extra pages. So especially if you did something incorrect and there's not more space anymore. As soon as you just go to the back pages, then just number the questions very clearly. The number of marks is given in brackets at the end of each question or part question. Non-programmable calculators may be used. And this is very important. If the degree of accuracy is not specified in the question, and if the question is not exact. Now, what does the word exact mean? It means it stops on the calculator. It's like 6,25, 7,378, and there's no more. It's not the full. So if it stops, you write it as it is on the calculator. Otherwise, if the answer to you approximate your answers to 3 significant figures, you give your answers to angles to 1 decimal place. And if you see pi, you either use the value on your calculator or the 3,142. That's very important. Okay, but let's start with the question paper. Okay. Now, I'm always going to do what I did in the previous papers, and I'm going to keep on doing that, is I'm going to reflect back to the y equals mx+c textbooks. And I'm going to show you an example which is more or less the same, so that you can maybe do revision or that you can connect it to the work that you studied. Okay. So the first one, this is very simple, but if you go to page 4, and I'm going to show you now. So if we go to documents, there it is. So, okay, I'm taking you always first to the textbook. And I just refresh your memory. And then as soon as that, then page 4, in the y equals mx+c, mathematics textbook, grade 10, 11, part 1. Okay, so let's look at this question. It's actually the first question in the textbook. So they give you a list of numbers. And then from this list of numbers, write down a prime number. So first you must know what is a prime number. A prime number only has 2 factors, the number 1 and the number itself. Okay, so you can already say that all the numbers ending on a 0, a 5 or an even number, they will have more than 2 factors. So there's a 0, there's a 2, there's a 4, there's a 5, there's a 6, there's a 8. It will not be one of them. Okay, now you know that numbers that can divide by 3, if you add it up, then that answer will be divisible by 3. So this is 2, okay, 3, 4, it's not, but 121, you know already 11 times 11 is 121. So that is already having more factors. So that one is also out. Now it's between 123 and 127. So let's add again. So 3 plus 2, it's 5, 6. Do you see? So take your calculator, say 123, divide 3, and you get 41. So you can also divide by 3. So the only one left is then 1 to 7 because it's only having the factors 1 and 1 to 7. A cube number. Now, it's always good that you know your list of cube numbers. So it is numbers that you multiply 3 times. So if you look, so if I start, it's 1, I can already start the list. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. It's actually very, so 3 times 3 times 3. So you can even use your calculator and see it. 27, I don't see it's very high. But let's go 4 times 4 times 4. 64, it's still too low. Oh, I think 125. It's because it's 5 times 5 times 5. Oh, there I see it, 125. And that will be my cube number. Okay, we will only do number A, or I showed you number A, just to get the idea. We will later in the question paper come to rational and irrational numbers. So let's go back to the question paper. And let's do that question. Just want to move it a little bit down. Okay, so there is your list of numbers. So let's start. From the list above, select a square number. Now remember, square numbers is like just you multiply it only 2 times. Okay, so it's 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, I still don't see it. 4 times 4, I'm just showing you 4 times 4, that is going to be 16. 5 times 5 is going to be 25. But I can see 6 times 6. There I have it. So what is my answer? 36. Okay. A prime number, what did I say? It's only having 2 factors, the number 1 and the number itself. I already see that one too, because that's not prime, so that is my prime. 2 is the only even prime number. The next one is 3, then 5, then 7, not 9, then 11. Okay, but 2 is the only even one. A cube number. Now, can you remember? It's instead of saying, now you're saying 1 times 1 times 1, it's 1. 2 times 2 times 2. Oh, I see it. That is 8. Okay. A negative integer. Now, integers mean it's now commas. And it must be negative. So it's negative 3. And then a number that is equal to negative 0.6 and that little dot. What does that mean? It means recurring. So it's just going on, on, on. If you press this on your calculator, negative 2 divided 3, you will get negative 0.6666. And that will then be negative 2 over 3. And they will just give for the correct answer. If you came to the correct answer, if you write 2, no, sorry. Okay, they're not going to pick for you. So only 1. And you can look at the marks. Okay, let's go to question number 2. Okay, now in question number 2, it's standard. Work out this, write your answer in standard form. So again, I want you quickly to take you back to the textbook just to refresh your memory. And here is standard form. And again, I want to show you a few things. So what is standard form? Let's just go back. Can I just tell you where it is? It's part 1, grade 10, 11, AS-Level Mathematics textbook. And it's on page 18, you will find standard form. If you struggle to find something, just go to the index. And it's sometimes easier to look up something there. Okay, let's start. So this is standard form. This is how I write it. There may only be one significant figure in front, not 0. It's a 1 up to 9. Okay, not 10, then it's 2. And multiply, and if it's positive, then the exponent is positive. I'll show you now. And if it's 0.00, then it's negative. Okay, but let's just, as I said, very briefly refresh your memory. With this 2 will already help. So when the comma, I can say almost that the comma is there at the back. And then I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Please, you must go until there's one digit in front, which is not 0. So if it's 6, then I say 5,51 times 10 to the power of 6. And now this one will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, So let's just go 4. But now it was a small number. That's why it's a negative index. So it's 7.40. I'll show you now why you write the 0. Multiply 10 to the power negative 4 because you moved for this. Because it's three significant figures. So then you must put 1, 2, 3. You put that 0. Okay. That's enough. Let's go back to the question paper. So basically, they're just testing that, if you know. So now you must first just do a calculation. So you can basically press it just on your calculator. 40 divide 16000. Make sure that there's 4 zeros. Okay, 0. And then my calculator is already giving it to me. My calculator, I just want to write in blue. 2.5 times 10 to the power negative 4. My calculator did that. But if you simplify that and you come to 1 over 4,000, they could have gave you a mark there if you did it. Or if you wrote, because you did the calculation. And so it's actually for the calculation, that one. You see. So if you did that, either this or this, but then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's why it's negative, because it's zeros in front. And there you will get your final mark. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, this one, and I was basically, I didn't do, because there's very few times that I refer you back to an 8 or 9 textbook, because I really tried in the grade 10, 11 to put everything in. But when it's very, very basic, I will just take just to show you a picture. So in this case, I will go to the grade 9 textbook. And I'm just going to show you the page. Here it is. I just want to see, yes. Okay. So this is the grade 9 Mathematics, y equals mx plus c textbook. Okay, and the example that I want to show you is just this example, 37. Okay, let's just make it bigger. Okay, and all why I'm showing you is fill in the symbols to make each statement true. You cannot compare things if they are not in the same format. So you will press on your calculator 2 divide 8. Ooh, now I'm making bigger and bigger, sorry. Okay, I have it. Let's go back. Then you get 0.25, 0.25. Oh, and now I see it's equal. The same. Do that calculation. Press on your, that's 4 plus 4. So what is 4 plus 4? That's 8. And that's 20. And remember this, the mouth, if you are hungry, you always want to, that's the mouth, eat the big one. So let the mouth look at the big one. And that's what. And that's all that I wanted to take you very briefly. As I said, it's very basic. But please don't forget it's score marks in your examination, so that you just take it to the same form. So let's just look at this, or use your calculator and simplify. So this is what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to press on my calculator 5 to the 5, and can you remember how I press that? 5, and then there on your calculator is that, okay? And then you press 4. And your calculator will say to you 625. Okay, I'm just going to use another color here. And then you do the same. 4, and now to the power 5. And your calculator will say 1024. Remember, if you're hungry, you want to eat the biggest portion. So the mouth looks at the bigger one. The same here. Press on your calculator. Now, if you see this bracket, just put brackets there. Because it's the square root of 34. But if you want to press it in, then press square root bracket, then say 25 plus 9, close the bracket, equals. Because it's the square root, as did I say to you, of, that is 34. But the square root, and now you write that decimal. So what is that? Make it at least 5.831, at least 3 or 4 decimal places. And now you press this. Now if you press this, do the same. Press bracket. You can say 2 divide 3, close the bracket, to the power, do you see? To the power 2 equals. And I get on my calculator 0.5 Oh, this is very smaller. Can you see? This is 5 and that's 0. Oh, I want to eat the biggest one. Okay. Now both is negative. Now be careful for negative numbers here. So imagine you have your number line. And that is what I'm going. Okay, here is your number line. Now, say for example, here is 0. Okay, that's fine. Now, I say there is -2 and there is -3. Now, if you must plot this on the number line. So, -3, now you must think, does this one comes first or this one? This one is going to be closer to 0. So, say this one there, okay, let's say there is -3.1025. Okay, so say there, that bottom there, okay, come on, pen. Okay, now I'll make it so far. Okay, and this is -3.125. Okay, so can you see that this one, because it's closer to 0, that is the bigger one. Okay, so in this case, please don't make the mistake, that one. Because even think of basic negative numbers. If you have -9 and you have -3, that's now integers. And you must think which one is the biggest one. Then this one, although it looks like small, but this is the biggest. It's almost like you owe somebody $3, the one person, and the other person owe the same person $9. So who is the best off? Definitely the one who's only owing, who must only pay back $3. The one with 9, he must pay 9 back. Okay, so think it in that context. It's just the commas that can be confusing. So it's actually the smaller one when it comes to negative, that is actually the bigger one. Okay, now use your calculator again. Your calculator is programmed to do BODMAS, to do this operations, to put the right one at the correct place. So you just press you will know which one to do first. So just press, because it's actually, can I just repeat, 9 times 7, 9 times 5, and then you subtract. So you first get that. Okay, so press on your calculator. 9 times 7 minus 9 multiply 5 equals, and what is your calculator saying? 18. This one, press in your calculator. It's actually 9 times 2, which is 18. But if you want to press it, press 9. You can multiply bracket 7 minus 5, close the bracket. You don't have to put that multiply in. You can say 9 bracket 7 minus 5, close the bracket, equals. But you will get 18. And what sign will I use? Equal. Again, I call this score marks. Okay, it's for that sign. Sorry, I just want to, don't give you two. I rather want to put it here. It's for the signs. So please calculate. You can put it, write it in pencil there, and then you can just put in pen your final answer. That is actually very nice. Do you agree? Let's go to the next page. Okay, let's just make it a bit bigger that we see a little bit better. Okay, and we are at algebra. Now, I really want to say this. When I was looking at this question paper, I saw really a lot of algebra. So please make sure algebra is maybe challenging when you come into grade 8, but it must grow on you. So if you really still struggle with it, just go to your basics. And I really tried in book 1 of the AS to explain the basics again of algebra. So go and do that basic examples. Because if you look at this one is so basic. It's a grade 8 type of sum. But I'll take you back to the textbook, because I like to show you where it is in the textbook. So let's just go back to the textbook, and we are going to, this is basic algebra, and I'll show you quickly. We're going to make it bigger, and it's on page 90. Do you see in the textbook? Grade 10, 11 AS-Level Part 1 Mathematics textbook. Okay, now if you look at this, and I just say example 1. Now this one is starting already a bit more challenging, but still I'm just going to look at A. perform the indicated. So it's just adding. So it's more difficult, but I just put a plus in between. Okay, so brackets are not required since we are adding. As soon as we subtract, we must put brackets. Okay, but that's not for this one. Now, I like to say, always, you know your like terms. What is like terms? Don't look at the numbers, the coefficient. You only focus on the alphabet letters. Now, if you look at the alphabet letters, they must be exactly the same, the base, the one on the ground, as well as the little small number. Now, if I look at this, this is the only, he's standing in his own category. Okay. Then if I look at x squared, there's an x squared. Always, and I said it so many times in my videos, grab the sign in front. There's not standing 10x squared. There is standing negative 10x squared. There is standing positive 12x squared. They are like. Okay. And then I see if I have another one. This is just x. I always grab the sign and x. And then I have my constants, which is having always the sign, always the sign. And now I can only add, it's almost like I have apples and oranges and all this kind of fruit, but I want to know how many apples do you have, how many oranges. I don't want to know the total, the fruit. No. We can only add like terms. So sorry, that one is on its own. I rewrite it. This one is 12 minus 10. That's 2x squared. This one is the yellow 1 minus, now people, if you still struggle with negative numbers, you have a calculator. Press it on. But I want to repeat the process because I really want for people who are struggling. What I do, if the signs are different, I subtract and I just keep the sign in front of the big one. That's why I got negative 8x. And keep your variable. It's not multiply, it's addition and subtraction. Then I keep the variable. And then this one, it's different signs, so I subtract and I take the sign of the biggest one. Otherwise, just press on your calculator, negative 40 plus 4, and you get negative 36. And so this answer is having 4 terms. Now we go back to the question paper. I'm doing it very thoroughly. And especially for people that's good, you just can check the answers and move on. You don't have to listen to all the detail. Okay, so let's just go. That was just that one. Oh, here it is. I have it. So you can, because you have your pencil there, I say, okay, this is 5x, grab that sign 3x. This is, I grab 2y, this, and I just go. Okay, 5 plus 3, that is going to be 8x. And this is going to be, now be careful of your sign. It's different. So press on your calculator, 2 minus 4. Your calculator will say negative 2y. Otherwise, the signs are different. You subtract, you take the sign in front of the biggest one. Leave it. That's the answer. And then you will get 1 if you come. If you just write 2y, sorry, you're not going. You must have negative 2y. If somebody say, but Miss, if I write this, am I also correct? Yes. We just look at this. If we see this, we give you a mark. If we see this positive, we give you a mark. You are also correct. Okay. And we are staying with algebra, and now we are going to, okay, now before I just want to, and I'm going to emphasize it a lot of times. So this, if there's no equal sign, we call it expressions. And that's why you found it in chapter 3, algebra expressions. As soon as we put the equal sign, it's still algebra, because this was algebra expressions. Now then it's going to be algebra, and then it's going to go equations, and that is in chapter 4. That was chapter 3. Okay, in the textbook, in the y equals mx plus c textbook, grade 10 and 11. So again, I'm going to take you back. I'm taking you a little bit to a more, and I'm going to show you actually two examples, and then I come back to this very basic one. But let's go to the textbook. I'm going to first take you to this one. Now, if you look at this one, okay, Now this was, I can tell you first the page. Yes, that will help. Page 142, part 1, mathematics textbook, grade 10, 11. Okay. Okay. So if you look at this, so this is quadratic, this was now in quadratic equations, okay, so this was now. Now, what I did is I factorize it. As I said, it's far more difficult. Now, what they did, you factorize it, then you put this equals 0 and this equals 0. Now, that is what they gave you in the question. They were nice. They already factorized it for you. It was a quadratic equation. They factorized. So you must basically just do this step now. You must just go and put this bracket equal to 0 or this bracket equal to 0. So then you get x is 4 or x is negative 4. And that was all. I want to show you another thing, and I must show it to you, because remember, it can be that the questions is a bit more difficult. You must always be prepared for all. So if you go to this, let's just go. Now this is just the next page in the textbook, page 143, and I want to take you to example B. I want you to focus there. It's not going to help me now, maybe in the next question paper. Okay. Now, if there is not a 0, do you see? There's not. Then you cannot put this bracket equal 18 or this bracket. No. The whole thing about putting it equal to 0 is that if you multiply, say you multiply and your answer is 0, and you multiply and your answer is 0. If an answer is 0, that means one of the two things that were multiplied with were 0. And that's the principle that you use there. That's not for this. So when you get one like this B, and I just show you, you must go and you must multiply out that double bracket. Then you must take everything to one side, which I showed you there. Then you must then you have 0. That's what my whole idea was. Now I can factorize, and as soon as I have 0 and I factorize, I can put this bracket equal to 0 or this bracket equal to 0. Okay, now you're ready. So just keep this in mind. This can also come in a grade 11 question paper. So if there's an 18, first multiply, take over, factorize, so it makes it far more a difficult sum. Okay, but they were kind. Okay, they didn't do that. So in this one, they just wanted you to say, oh, this is 0. Oh, this is x. They already factorized for me. So it's either this bracket that was 0 or it was this bracket that was equal to 0. Otherwise, the answer would not be 0. And then I simplify. It's linear equations now. And I simplify. And you know, if as soon as I want to, it's like if I jump over, it's a negative. But to cancel, I subtract 6, I subtract. And they were nice. They even helped me with the space. So again, I say, doesn't matter which one. You can put the negative 6 there. You can put the 3 there. As long as you have a negative 6 and a 3, you will get your 2 marks. Okay, we're still with algebra. I love algebra. I really love algebra. And I really think that you must put time in algebra and you must really conquer it, because it's almost like the core of mathematics. So if you go further, so please, if you want to go further in mathematics, spend time in algebra. Okay, so let's go to, I have another example to you. And again, this is now for the second one that I want to help you with. Okay, let's just see the first one, the second one, that was okay. This was for the second one. Okay, let's see if this was the one I was looking for. I make it a bit bigger, and it's page 124, and it's example 3 that I want to show you. And again, it's in chapter, it's still in, it's because this is equation, so it's still in chapter 4. Okay. And you can also see, I want to show you, if you see here, you see chapter 4, equation, inequalities, formula, but we are at equations. Okay, so this is now a bit more difficult one than the one, again, they asked you. But it's fractions and it's equations. So what you must first do is you must just get rid of the fractions. Okay. So it's just making it the LCM, getting the LCM. So a lot of people, they prefer that you rather do it like this, and I'll show you. You'll say the LCM, it's going, put it over 1. Everything you make a fraction. If you put it over 1, it's going to be 12. So what they do is they multiply 12 over 1. I just like this because it helps with expressions. Multiply 12 over 1. Okay, so basically, then they're just going to go and say, okay, 3 can go in 1. Let's just put it. 3 can go in 1, 4. And that's where they multiply this one then with 4. And then they say 4 can go in there, 3, and that's why they multiply that one with 3 and that one with 12. But for me, I treat it like I treat an expression. I first make all the denominators the same. So if I multiply with a 4 at the bottom, I multiply a 4 on top. A 3, a 3, a 12, a 12. And as soon as the denominators is the same, because it's an equation, I can just basically cancel it out. It's almost like I multiply with 12 all the terms to cancel out. Multiply each term with 12 to cancel out. Okay. I just want to show you. Yes, I don't think it will work in this one. I wish there was one I could have showed you, and then that it would have worked. Okay, I think I'm going to try to do it here. Okay. So this was where fractions was. I think I maybe did it in a grade 8 and 9 textbook. Okay, I'll use first this method, and then I'll show you in the question paper my other method. So let's go back to the question paper. Now let's do first that method, the method I followed there. Now the one I did now there is I put this over 1. Then I basically just times 9 and I times 9. And I got W plus 4 over 9. And 7 times is 63. And basically to cancel out this 9s, I multiply 9, I multiply 9. But because it's an equation, not if it's an expression. So I got this. And then I basically just say, okay, this one jumps over 63 minus 4, and that's going to be 59. Okay, so that's the method which I showed you in the textbook. But I want to show you this one. I somewhere in the textbook, or I think that's maybe in 8 or 9. But it's something that's very, very useful. And I'll show you again. I make or. Please don't do both. If you have, and you have it, you have one term equals one term. Do you see? One term equals one term. Then that's the only time you can cross multiply. So basically, you can say W plus 4 times, I say that's just that. And 9 times 7 is 63. Okay. And then I get that W is 63 minus 4, and that is going to be equal to 59. So I think if I had to choose a method, I would have chosen this method. Okay, I would have put brackets, put over 1, cross multiply, because that's what we do if we have one term equals one term. Otherwise, we just make the denominators the same. Okay. Now, where will they give me the marks? I think that as soon as you come to this step, doesn't matter how, they will give you a mark. And as soon as you say that the final answer is 59, they will also give you another mark. Okay. And the last one, oh, lovely, is simultaneous equations. So we're busy with equations, chapter 4. Let me take you to the textbook, and I want to show you the next one, and that's number 4C, and here it is. I want to show you where it is in the textbook. So it's still in the grade 10-11 mathematics textbook, part 1, and it's this example. It's example 15, and it's on page 135. Do you see? And I'm still with equations, chapter 4. Okay. Now, there's more than one method to solve simultaneous equations. Now, what is simultaneous equations again? Can you remember? That is when you have two unknowns, a m and an n, a x and a y. And then you must solve them. You have two equations also, and you must find both values of m and n. Now, there's a method of substitution, but I think the method that most, if you can, you always will try to start with elimination. Okay, so let's start with elimination. Now, when it comes to elimination, we want to eliminate. Now, it's almost like, as I said, in a game. We want to get one out of the game. Now, if I want to eliminate, say, for example, okay, let's see. If I want to eliminate, say, positive 5, what will eliminate positive 5? Negative 5. If I have positive, okay, let's make it rather negative 7. Negative 7, what will eliminate? So because I must get 0. If I get 0, I was eliminating it. Okay. Now, in this case, I will struggle to make 2, 5. I will struggle to make 4. But I can multiply both equations. And that's what I did. I decide, okay, let me take both of you. I think that will be the easiest. Let me take you to 10. Okay. Because if I take you to 10, I will multiply you with 2. But remember, the signs must be different. I will multiply you with 5, but to get that signs different, I will multiply, oh, okay, you could have already multiplied with negative 5. I did it in the next step. So I multiply. So as soon as it's the same numbers, I must get the signs different. So then I multiply the whole way through with a negative, and I get this. And now look there, it's eliminated. And then I just simplify of one unknown. I just get the value of that n, and I take that value of the n, and you can either substitute in equation 1 or 2. So I just substitute in equation 1, and you get your other unknown. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do. So let's go back to the question paper. Okay. So let's think. We must think before we do, especially in this question. So I can either make this 3, negative 3, because this is positive 3. Or I can make this negative 4 because this is positive 4. Now I think usually it's good to start in the beginning. People like that. So I will say, okay, I'm going to make you negative 4. So already multiply with a negative. Okay, so what will I get? I will rewrite that one. That's equation 1. So it's going to be y. It's still equation 1. This will be negative 4x. Multiply with, that will be negative 6y. And that will be negative 18. And that's equation 2. And then I draw my line. Okay. And now, look, oh, it's magic. Do you see? Cancel, cancel. That was my whole idea. And now I just simplified. Negative 6 plus 1, that's negative, oh, let's just get the pen correct, negative 5y. And this is going to be, that's very nice, also negative 5. And I divide by negative 5 because I want to get it 1, negative 5. And I get my first value. Oh, I see. Y is 1. I can put in any equation. So let's just choose the first one. So substitute. You don't have to write this one in equation 1. Okay, just take note. This was 2. And even if you multiply it with something, it's still equation 2. And then I just rewrite it. And as soon as I see a y, I put a 1. And I have 4x equals 13 minus 1. So I have 4x equals 12. Divide 4. I divide 4. The value of x is 3. And I'm done. So the value of x is 3. And the value of y is 1. And that's how you do it. So even if you substitute even this 1 into equation 2, you would have get the same answer. Even if you took that equation 1 to negative 3, you would have come to the same answers. Now, where will you get your marks? They will basically, if you eliminate one of the variables, Okay, I think they will give you a mark for that. So showing that you eliminate one of the variables, and then just for the two answers. So it's actually, you must come to the answers because the answers count actually a lot of marks.